Goodbye. We're going to use our orb here, which is going to give this guy haste. Yes, we will gain some life. Oh, dude! Because then we just slap this down. We can also destroy the innkeepers, which is fantastic. Well, I guess we don't necessarily win here, but going face, kind of massive. Destroying this, kind of massive. Yo, thanks for checking out the video. Hugely appreciate it. I have a killer JUND dragon list that I did a lot of testing with that feels pretty good. We had to strike a good balance between ramp and dragons. I think we have just enough of both, and it ends up being pretty darn consistent. And yeah, just a lot of closing damage out of nowhere. A lot more removal actually than it might look like at first glance. Interaction of all kinds. And yeah, so just to very quickly go over the ramp pieces that we have available. Yes, we have Cornucopia in here. We all know this is great. A little bit of incidental life gain. We also have a Carnelian Orb of Dragonkind from Foundation. So this will give our dragons haste as well. So keep that in mind when I talk about the dragons. But very good. We also have the Dragonlord Servant, which will lessen the cost of all our dragon spells, which is pretty good. And again, we have just enough dragons where it is really awesome. And we, again, have a lot of interaction, and you can choose between the two with the ones that have omens and stuff. So to cover some more ramp, actually, we have Sarkhan, right? We have 3 for that treasure token. He can get a little bit bigger and fly on in. Great card, great 2-drop, absolutely, yeah. I think 3 is the magic number there. You also have Rivas of the Claw here, which can cast dragons from your graveyard, as well as tapping to add 2 mana, which is great. So, fantastic card there. We also actually have Encroaching Dragonstorm, which finds 2 basic land cards. I think we have the right number of basics to actually make this work, because we also have Bloomvine Regent if we do want to ramp. If we don't get our Cornucopias, we don't get our orbs, our Dragonlord gets removed, for example. We even have this, so we can very quickly get up to actually slapping down dragons. And you gain a little bit of life from this as the game goes on, which is great for those grindier matchups. As far as the two-sided cards here, because you do have to shuffle it in when you cast the Omen half. This is also a removal spell, so you can think of this in like the 2-drop slot, right, for example, and then the actual dragon half is your respectable 3/3, but it does destroy an artifact or enchantment. So just the modality of this is fantastic. Absolutely a great card here, I would say. So you will notice we do have some graveyard stuff, and then I'll talk about the big, actual damage. But we have a Virtue, which you can think about as another removal spell, which is great, and also just bringing back our dragons over and over again, and also anything from their graveyard. And we also have Pull, which if we don't have our dragons in the bin, we can get 2 things of theirs, because it has to be a single graveyard. But this is also potentially a removal spell if we really need to as well in the 2-drop slot. So what we're trying to do is sort of just repeat Terror of the Peaks over and over again with Drakuseth over and over again. If you have your Terror of the Peaks and then you Drakuseth, right, they're going to take 7 from the ETB. This is likely going to be able to swing that turn with your Orb of Dragonkind, right? So you're swinging in with 7 damage, 5 damage, that's 12. They've already taken 7. That's 19. And then you do get to do 4 more damage to their dome with this ability, as well as taking out 2 incidental flyers, most likely, so that you can actually connect. So that's 23 damage if you connect with all that, which is pretty beautiful, right? And again, just a little bit of graveyard stuff. And we also have our Dragon Hawk as well. You could go like a 3rd Terror of the Peaks here, really, but the card advantage is kind of fantastic, and they will take a lot of damage if we don't cast those spells, but likely we'll try to if we can, right? So just a lot of damage that this represents too. Now we also have more great new dragons. This is really good for slowing down the opponent, obviously. So you destroy a non-basic, they get a basic, which is kind of good in and of itself, but you do put a stun counter, so putting them behind that 1 critical turn that we really need, right, to really just end the game before they can even respond in a way. Nice little 4/5 body here, and we also have a nice 4/5 body here, so that's cool. We also have the Scavenger Regent, the main reason to really be playing black, and we do have a pretty consistent mana base, I would say, especially given like our Cornucopia and all our ramp and stuff. But this is a -X to all non-dragon creatures. And at that point in the game, if we're trying to just like wipe the board, we really don't care if like our servant dies, right? We're not really concerned, or our Sarkhan, really, for that matter. And he can often get big enough with our counters and stuff, which is great, so that he doesn't actually die, but just fantastic. If they want to remove this, they have to use a removal spell, and then they have to discard another card. And that's really good, because then like our Terror of the Peaks can actually survive, and our Drakuseth can actually end the game, and our 4/5 flyers can just exist and swing in freely. This guy also is doing his thing, right? As far as other cards, I think I talked about most of these towards the end here, but we also have Invasion of Tarkir. And it's really cool that now we're back at Tarkir, and now we're playing this card. Now, this is also another dragon. We have 2 copies of this deck. This is basically a removal spell, which is great, and it scales up, which can matter. And we should have a critical mass of dragons where you can actually take advantage of that. But then if you actually connect with any of our 5 damage dragons, like Terror of the Peaks, or Dragonhawk, or I guess, these are 4 damage guys, which is a little awkward. But if you can flip this over, yeah, every dragon swinging doing 2 damage is great. This also has trample, so just another dragon, which is really good. And this will exile and then come back. So if your Terror of the Peaks is on the field, this will enter as a 4/4, which is great. And then your Terror of the Peaks is swinging, doing 2 damage, doing 5 more with the actual power and toughness. We also have a Shivan Devastator. If we end up, so these 1-drops, we don't have too many 1-drops at all, really. So we're sort of leading definitely into that mid-range, and then that 1-turn kill ending type of thing. But this can be a way, if you just completely flood and you have all the ramp in the world, this can enter with like 7 counters on it once you're up to like 8 mana, and that's fantastic. Again, if Terror of the Peaks is sitting on the field, you feel pretty good about that. So I'm wondering if I should add 1 more Terror of the Peaks, in all honesty. If anything, I'd cut like 1 Dragonlord Servant, right, and 1 more Terror, because we do have so much ramp and stuff. Realistically, we also have this card too, which you can cast over and over again. But for right now, I'll keep 3 in the list, just for some more consistency. If I had another one of this, I'd probably recommend that, actually. But for right now, we'll give that a shot. But just a good card. And yeah, scalability is fantastic. This is in here because, like, if you can keep one of your important dragons alive, like your Terror of the Peaks, you just sort of win the game right there. Is great. And it has a permanent ward 1, which is really cool. Maybe you save your Sarkhan early so he can continue to get bigger, have some sort of board presence, or maybe you keep your Rivals of the Claw alive, one of your 4/5 flyers. You feel pretty good about that. Or maybe they try to remove this, they pay the ward, and then you protect it. Blowout stuff. Now, the last card is actually Dragonmaster Outcast. This is a mythic, but another sort of way to compensate if we do end up flooding a little bit, because like we just have so much ramp, but we actually only have 23 lands in the mana base as well. So that's a little concession that I made that I think balances things out, and it hasn't been a problem so far. And we actually have made a few 5/5s just in the handful of games I've played. Really testing this deck like in depth. So good card here, but really the 1-drops we're almost sacrificing in a way. Maybe we're laying one of our Surveil lands or just a slow start, but we definitely have a good amount of 2-drops to start things off, and once we can get up to the 3-drops. So I'm still kind of working out the kinks. I think this is one of those decks that takes more testing, and there's some great dragons that I'll point out actually right now for you. So, we're not playing Bonehorde Dracosaur. That's something to keep in mind. This could also be a very, very good. Decadent Dragon also comes to mind, but we do have just like so many 3-drops and stuff. So, we do create treasures, which is really great. So this could be an option in all honesty, but, Stormscale Scion could be really nice as well, but we just don't really have the deck build to actually get the Storm off. And I think it's just, there's definitely a deck for this. I'm actually one of the believers of this card for sure. Because obviously the ceiling is incredible, but you'd probably be playing this in like an Is It Spells deck or something that also has some of this dragon ramp. But yeah, Incinerator of the Guilty also came to mind here because you could collect evidence, but we do have some graveyard recursion and whatnot, so I'm not sure if we'll actually have like exactly what we need. But this is a 6/6 swinging in, most likely with haste from our orb, and this could be really, really powerful. I think maybe if I tweak the deck a little bit, this could be better. And then probably the dragon that I wanted to add like the most is this one, because I mean this is just insane, creating more 5/5s. Obviously with Terror of the Peaks, that becomes pretty crazy pretty quickly, and the fact that you can buff all your dragons up with that ability is great. So Lathliss here is definitely probably the next dragon I would add if I add one, but there are so many more that have like attack triggers, damage triggers. So definitely take a look at all of them. But this would probably be the first one that I add. So yeah, that's basically the deck. Hopefully you check out the gameplay today. You know, we have 3 games. I could have done more, relatively quicker. The last one was really quick. The first 2 are pretty good though. And you know, I did make some tweaks in between the games. So if you see like a card that's not actually in the list right now, then I ended up cutting it. I don't think there are too many. We also got some weird draws, but we ended up just like winning anyway. So that's kind of cool. And yeah, you know, let me know how I could change this to improve it. I'm always looking for that. I would hugely appreciate that. I appreciate you being here this long anyway. So have a great day if you're heading out. Hopefully I'll see you again. And Tarkir Dragonstorm is kick-ass, baby. So, all right, guys. Hope you enjoy the deck. Bye. Have a great day. All right, guys. Thanks for checking out the gameplay. Let's get a dub or 2 with our JUND dragons, man. We have so many options for dragons. I actually really like this hand. It's a little slow, but at least we have a turn 2 play with this great uncommon, man. This is a good uncommon for sure. I think we'll just do this, see what we can potentially hit. Now, this is great for just ramp. Now, let me think about this. Because we don't really have... We don't necessarily need this, given that we have a high mana hand. Are we playing 3 of this card or 2? I kind of forget. But, okay. See what we get. Hopefully, we kind of just want like a ramp piece. We are playing just 3 cornucopias, 4 of the orbs. No, 3 of the orbs. There's a cornucopia. Speak of the devil. Great stuff. We'll lay this. We'll say that hey man, we're JUND. So put some respect on our name, dude. So a slower start from the opponent is fantastic. It's kind of what you need and want here. But now we're pretty much poised to slap down like a Terror of the Peaks. You know, leading that probably isn't the move. But again, a little bit of a slower turn. They're finally now getting down their Bristly Bill, so they must have just top decked that. Okay. Maybe not, though. Well, yeah, because you would have laid it before the Innkeepers, unless they were trying to dodge removal. Okay, so we'll just lay this, and the thing, sure, you know, and the little passive life gain from Cornucopia is pretty massive. Being that we usually have some relatively slower starts and we need to do a little bit of ramping. This matchup made me feel confident for just slapping down Terror here. Wow, oh wow. So there's definitely a combat trick with Bristly Bill here. So I'm going to say no. Yeah, I'm going to say no to that. Okay, so the ward is pretty annoying. But, okay, another Cornucopia is really good, actually. So we do have the ability to protect our guy. We have all the different mana we're going to need. I don't even know what to grab here. I guess a forest? Sure. I guess we have cards that search for forest, so maybe not, but we should be able to cast everything. I think you slap down this. Okay. Absolutely. Perfect. So we're going to do 4 to Bristly Bill. And we are also going to destroy their basic land. So they get a land, but it comes in with a stun counter. So it puts them behind like a whole turn, which is fantastic. They do actually, that's kind of right though, that they do get the counter before that happens because Bristly's still on the field. And we will probably swing here because we sort of are trying to put him on the clock. We might throw this in front of something here. Probably. Yeah, just so many powerful dragons to choose from. It's actually incredible. When I was looking at all the different dragons that we had, it was actually really, really hard to choose. Okay, so here's probably some sort of combat trick. But we do have the Royal Treatment, which does give us a little bit of boost. So they get a counter and indestructibility. We will now survive this and gain 1 life. It's actually kind of massive. Wow, so did we just win? Because then we just slap this down. We can also destroy the Innkeepers, which is fantastic. Well, I guess we don't necessarily win here, but going face, kind of massive. Destroying this, kind of massive. We can... Like, I don't want to die stupidly to some sort of weird double the power crap, so that's kind of just a move here. Oh, they just play a Kami, so yeah, not too scared. Yeah, should have him here, for sure. Disruptive Stormbrood is just an all-star uncommon. We will just throw this in front of this, and we should have the game, baby. And yeah, so we got these late, but these give haste, man. These give haste. It's so good. All right, so game 2 here. Let's get a nice little Dubbaroonie. We have a Dragonlord servant this time. It should be good. And we can work our way up to the Drakuseth, which is a great dragon. Now, I thought about doing, what is it, Lilith? Lilith would have been good. We'll lead with the Surveil land, folks. That is good, but nah. We'll probably get another land at some point. We should be coasting for a while. We do have the Cornucopia. Okay. So a little bit of a token thing going on. Very weird to see that card right now here. But we did. So yeah, our dragons are going to cost less. So it's actually realistic. We can just cast this at some point. But we might just -X and feel good. Might just do that. You know what I'm saying, Jellybean? Jellybean. Yeah, Jellybean, do you know what I'm saying? We almost have too much ramp in a way. There's so many options. I keep saying that, but like, it's very, very true. There's the Sarkhan finally. I was wondering if that card was like even in the deck at this point. I'm just kidding, but kind of. It's actually been a little ridiculous. So we can not do what I wanted to do, but yeah, we want to get this down. Let's see if they try to remove this. That'd be great. This probably gets too big for us to block that, but it wouldn't actually be horrible to... Okay, so this is a new card. You give your end step, put a counter on this creature, and whenever non-creature creature dies, it endures X, which is the number of counters on this creature. Yeah, that's right. This card's sick. Okay, so we are just going to do this, because it just adds ward. We gain a little bit of life, be mana efficient. Great. Could matter. Excellent. Now, what we could do is Sarkhan and Regent, which is kind of a play. But we can also give -3/-3 to everything. So that's absolutely what we do. Goodbye. And we get in for a big 0 damage. No, just kidding. We don't swing. Okay. Great so far. Great so far. And then we can Draku, baby. Then we can Draku. Big Draku. Drakunator. Yes. Yes. Don't tell me the neighbor's dog starts barking now that I finally pressed record. I've never hated an animal more than a neighbor's dog. Reoccurring viewers may know, as I talk about that quite a bit. Now this is 4 damage on target, 3 to up to... Okay, so... kind of almost want to save that. You know what I mean? So we're going to Sarkhan. Okay, absolutely. This is a good play. Because then we'll cast this. This is a 2-carded card, so we should have waited. We would have gained 1 extra life, right? Or is it just the spell half that we're casting? I'm not sure how that works. There's 2 cards on the card, but I don't think it's the spell when we actually end up casting it. Yeah, we'll behold a dragon. So we get that treasure, but we don't even need it. We will destroy the Skrelv's Hive, and we will feel pretty good about that. Sarkhan do be getting the counter too. Very nice. Very nice. Lovely. Okay. Let's Swingle Pringle. Beautiful. Oh my god. Love to see a Skrelv's Hive Virtue of Loyalty deck. Classic right there. No, just kidding. They are playing new cards. So this is dope, actually. And this is great. So, like, they all died at the same time. So it's like, you know, not really board wipey protection. Not that many cards are, but I'm just saying. Would have been really cool if they if it wasn't worded that way, basically what I'm saying. But it is it's a pretty good card nonetheless. So this does have Ward 2, which is rather annoying. So actually, let's lead with this for sure. Yes, sir. Nice little haste guy, little Dragon Hawk action. Little bit of a Dragon Hawk-a-rooney. Let's see what we hit, baby. Hit something good. Come on. Come on. You know you want to, eh? Oh, it's a card. It's a card. Throw it on down. Why not? Now our Draku will be cheaper, and it'll have haste. Holy guacamole. It is too much to handle. This does not have haste. Why did I think this does have haste? What was I talking about? Okay, so no damage, but we got some pretty good... Like, we are set up for the Draku, baby. Big Draku moment. Holy guacamole, dude. Okay. So, we're going to use our orb here, which is going to give this guy haste. Yes, we will gain some life. Oh, dude. We get to swing in with our boys.